Let's get more with Dr. Mufaddal Hamadeh. He's president of the Syrian-American Medical Society. He joins us from Chicago. Thank you so much for your time, sir. So what we've heard today from the Biden administration is that they've issued this Syria-related general license. I wonder if you could explain to me exactly what that means and what the implications are on the ground from a humanitarian point of view.
This is great news, and actually it comes at a perfect time now. And it was well-awaited lifting of the sanctions and lobbied hard by the Syrian-American community here. We hope this is just a first step for going forward to lifting all the sanctions against Syria. This means a lot to the humanitarian sector right now, because a lot of the Syrian people, most of the Syrian people, rely on the governmental sector for their livelihood, particularly very important sectors, which includes the health sector. And we're seeing that the Syrian government is having a hard time being able to provide enough, even the basic needs for the humanitarian sector. So as a humanitarian organization that specializes in the health sector, this is a welcome relief for us, but because we can extend a hand to the Syrian government dealing with the healthcare sector that will lack essential needs, including, something like including the basic needs, equipment, supplies to the hospitals, clinics, equipments, all these things that they all require, and a large portion of the population rely on that. So having the ability to be able to transfer medical aid to Syrian to particular sectors of the Syrian government that is specializing in humanitarian services is extremely important.
Dr. Mufaddal, just to be clear, presumably you were able to send aid before, for example, during the recent earthquake that took place. Yeah. So what exactly has changed now?
The difference is we were operating in the area outside the government control area. We had a license to be able to do that. We had a permission of the international community and the American governments to do that. We have not dealt with the local government inside the area there, which was the HTS, because there were sanctions against that particular government. Now we are able to deal with the Syrian government in place right now and be able to work with their institutions, their hospitals, to provide that aid. Before, we were working independently from the government that they called it, the Salvation government that was in place then.
And if I'm right in thinking this, the group that is now overseeing the country is still on the U.S. terror list. So how tricky does that make it for aid organizations to know what they can and cannot do?
It was much trickier before today, because, then we really were very hesitant to be able to do anything. And now it adds a little bit more clarity. The new license 24 allows us to be able to deal with the Syrian government institutions that are working with humanitarian sectors. So that makes it much clearer. But it's still, now we're still, there are certain individuals on this government now that are under the labeled under the American government sanctions as terrorist organizations. So we have to be careful not to be able to have direct, transfer of goods and or even money directly to these particular individuals, but rather work with the government institutions. So yes, it is very tricky for now, and we are hoping to get more clarifications from the U.S. government, where everybody is going to be, all the sanctions are going to be lifted, and there will be recognition for the new government, or the future government too.
I appreciate your time today, Dr. Mufaddal Hamadeh, president of the Syrian-American Medical Society. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.